Good morning and morning to all your viewers, and thank you for inviting us. Of course, we definitely expect that from the side of our unions. They know very well. We've been having discussions with them even now at 9 o'clock. We will be meeting them to update them as to what is happening. We have got all those avenues that have been created for us to continue to engage each other. On the issues that they are raising, the issue of a shortage of staff, it's not something that it's starting today because of the issue of the pandemic. We have been battling with challenges of shortage of staff across the province, not only Limpopo, even across the country. And of course, COVID-19 pandemic has worsened the situation because the very few nurses that we have, most of the time when they get infected, you find that they will have to stay for isolation, and the shortage becomes even worse. And that does not only apply to the nurses, it's applying to the cleaners, it's applying to our food service aid, and it's also applying to our doctors and all the other frontliners. That is why the Provincial Department of Health has already, remember when during our first wave, we developed a surge plan that talks to in case you have got 1% attack rate, 2% attack rate, 5% attack rate. So each time we continue to assess where are we in terms of the attack rate. When we get to 2% attack rate, we will therefore activate our resurgence plan that talks to that. When we get to 5% attack rate, we'll do the same. Like currently, what we are doing, we have activated our 2% attack rate, even if we have not yet reached the number 2% attack rate, which then allow us to appoint what we call COVID-19 response team in terms of human resources. As I'm speaking here, job offers for nurses have already been issued. Nurses are being appointed. We will therefore, even our current nurses who are doing community service, we've already made a submission to our treasury to say we would want these nurses, when they finish their community service come February, for us to appoint them on a 12-month contract as part of our COVID response. We
If
are
I can
doing
ask
the
you a
same.
question very quickly there, MEC, apologies for disrupting you. In relation to that, Circular 39 of 2010, we understand, was already released, and this advertised the appointment of about 1,300 odd nurses. We understand that only 40 nurses have been appointed thus far during the midst of this pandemic. That's only 3% of the available posts. Can you help us understand why that's the case?
I think we need to appreciate what I've already indicated. We advertise 1,300 posts of nurses and all other technicians so that we can have an open advert, or in case we get to 5% attack rate, that those positions were looking at that level. Like you have rightfully said, during the first wave, as a province, we did not even get 1% attack rate. So that is why at that time during the first wave, we appointed 40 nurses. And the focus during the first wave was priority given to ICU nurses. But as it is now, I've already said this week, DINOSA will not be aware because they've come to our offices, ask what is going on. But I can tell you of yesterday, the HOD has already signed appointment of a second grouping of nurses. And I've already, and remember, the challenge that gives us to remain before, we had advertised those number of posts. Only the few apply. That is another problem. Even current, out of those 100 and something offers that were given, only few did came to accept their offers. Because sometimes we have one professional nurse who has not been appointed. Does not necessarily mean it's 1,000 nurses that are appointed. It might have been that one nurse alone. I am reassuring you that we are appointing the second batch of nurses. We will be appointing the third batch, which is we are thinking on those who are finishing their community service. They will also be part of the COVID response.
Yeah, it almost feels counterintuitive, and you'll bear with us, MEC, as we try to understand your processes. Why would the appointment of nurses follow an influx of infections? One would imagine you'd actually preempt this and appoint the nurses so that in the event that the wave hits, you are prepared. As far as some people are concerned, the appointment might come a little too late.
It doesn't, as I've said to you, the first time when we appointed, we activated, in case you have got 2% attack rate, you will need a certain number of nurses. We appointed those. Only 40 responded to our ad in terms of the job offers that were issued. Currently, we are not yet at 5%, but we are activating that particular resurgence plan of in case you have 5% attack, and we are appointing those nurses based on what will happen should you have a 5%. So what we are saying, we are not waiting for the wave. We anticipate that in case you have got more than this, we appoint for what is more than what you are currently needing at this particular point in time.
That's interesting and very well received. It then leaves the question around why then there is a shortage today as we speak. If you are preempting things, how are we finding ourselves in a situation where even you agree that there's a shortage in nurses?
I have indicated to you that the issue of shortage of nurses goes back to before even we had the pandemic.
Yeah, but
We have
aren't
been
these
operating.
aren't these appointments meant to address that, MEC? Isn't that the objective?
Appointments that I'm talking about here are specifically to deal with the COVID-19. But the shortage that has been raised throughout is a general shortage of nurses that we're having, which we agree with Dinosa that the general shortage that has been raised previously, which of course has been given a conflicting report, which Dinosa knows. There's a report which is a wise and study done by the National Department of Health. We took Dinosa along to read that report, which actually said Limpopo has got more nurses than any other province. We argued as a Department of Health to say we don't agree with that report, but together with them, Dinosa. But this is a report that has been done and it's evidence based according to the researchers that have done that particular report. But we are not saying as a department we fully agree because we are looking at material conditions on the ground. We've been in that process of cleaning up our HR until such time when we were hit by this pandemic while we are in this process. But in terms of the nurses that are currently attending to patients, be rest assured, there is no patient that has been returned because did not have a nurse to attend to them. Let's not exaggerate issues. The fact of the matter is that in terms of our public hospitals admissions, when we look at the number of beds that we've prepared vis-a-vis the current admissions, our admissions are even when you look at COVID positive confirmed cases, still at 33%. When you look at those who are under investigations, they are at 50%. When you look at those requiring ICU and ventilations, we have not even reached a 10% of such. So we have not reached the era wherein people can say, as Department of Health in Limpopo, we are failing to cope. You have not seen any patient sleeping on the floor because they can't have access to bed. Yes, even the field beds that have been created, it is within our private hospitals, which we are working with to support them. We are hard hit by the middle class and the upper class. Those who have got means who can afford, they're the ones who are, the infection rate is very high, and that's the ones that the private hospitals are currently overflowing. And we have started a process of, as public hospitals, we are starting to take referrals from the private hospitals.
Right.
But in terms of hospitals, we have not reached that level. Yes, people will raise this issue because of the frustration. The current infection rate is not the same with the first wave. But I want to reassure you, we are on the ground and we are when nurses are needed,
Yeah.
we will appoint.
Right.
When cleaners are needed, we will appoint.
Minister, if I can just ask you this question quickly before we let you go, then. We understand the Home Affairs Portfolio Committee is going to be undertaking an inspection at the beitbridge border post. Your areas or aspects of concern as they embark on that inspection, what are you hoping they'll be able to address?
I think what we will indicate is that the Minister of Health of Home Affairs has been with us throughout the past week, and we've been able to jointly with him address issues that as a province we were concerned. We want to welcome the decision pronounced by the president yesterday, because that was our main concern, that while as South Africans we are allowing people to live through our border and also come back through our border, when you go to the other side, for instance, of Zimbabwe, they are not allowing people to enter Zimbabwe, but they are allowing people to come into the country, and which is, we feel that it has been a serious challenge for us. Now, the decision to say we are closing the border post is something that we have been hopeful that it will happen, even though some might feel that it's happening very late. But for me, better late than never. As it is for now, we are going to be able to be focused on dealing with all the positive cases that are in the province, and also to make sure we reduce the infection rate in our province as it is, because now no longer festive season. Those who were coming from other provinces have left the province, gone back. Now we will remain focused. Our only main challenge currently is the funerals, which we are working. We're meeting with the undertakers. They must help us with compliance. We are also meeting with the different pastors so that they can also help us. These are custodians of funerals. We have met with the traditional leaders. The Babenda King also on board is issuing a statement to assist and support that our cultural beliefs must not be the source of us get infected and lose our lives. So currently, what we can indicate, having subtract all these issues that I've raised, which were causing a lot of problems, issues of alcohol, issues of weddings, issues of Christmas party, issues of border post.
Yeah.
We are only left with funerals to deal with, and we will be able to focus on the funerals and the malls and all those other issues which we can handle. And you will see that we'll be able to stabilize, and the province will go back to where it used to be.
All right, very well. Thanks very much for your perspective. Certainly appreciate it here on the AM Report. Dr. Limpopo Ramathuba is